the excuse that you find for DEI when you ask most people, what about DEI? They say, oh, well, the sins of the past. Oh, well, we've got a lot to atone for. Oh, we've got reparations. And they basically point to uh, unchanging aspects of the past as being a justification for today's DEI. Now, these facts that they point to, there's no disputing them, depending on what they're pointing to. I mean, the death of George Floyd in the streets of Minneapolis 5 years ago, that's not going to change. No matter what we do today, that will never change and can always be pointed to. Selma can be pointed to. Rosa Parks can be pointed to. The Watts riots in 65, that can be pointed to. That's not going to change. Nothing. So those immutable, unchanging aspects of history can always be referred to. And the proponents of DEI always refer to that rather than the specifics of their remedies that to remedy these sins of the past or remedy these perceived flaws in American society today. And you cannot pin them down on this. I will give you an example. Supposedly, DEI is going to remedy the racism in American society, and it's going to be a liberatory program, an emancipatory program. Well, I'll give you the example of Princeton University. Summer of 2020, July 4th, in fact, a letter went out from Princeton University, signed by an open letter, signed by faculty and staff, accusing Princeton University of rampant racism on the campus and demanding changes be made at Princeton University, that this rampant racism must be addressed. Well, Connor Friedersdorf, a journalist for The Atlantic, did the most obvious thing in the world. He contacted all 300 or more of these signatories of this letter and asked them the most obvious question. He said, can you show me, can you give me examples of this rampant racism at Princeton University, any incident at all that has occurred in the last 15 years? Now think about that. You've accused Princeton of being a bastion of rampant racism. And so, yes, you're being asked to provide an example. They could not provide a single example, not just a handful, but a single example of this rampant racism. And yet their demands were taken seriously and the programs put in place to bring Princeton to heel. So I've always asked the question, who are the policies, who are the people, the policies, the procedures, and programs that you find racist on this particular campus? Be specific, give examples, and only then can we begin to tackle this problem that you perceive. But right now, there is no evidence, there is no proof, there is no examples of this rampant racism. All we have is your con story to demand millions of dollars, and I mean this nationwide, to correct this problem that you refuse to identify and give examples of. That's a beautiful con and a great business model if you can get someone to buy into it.